Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. For today's stream, we will look at the type hash today, which is the last missing piece for what should hopefully be the last fixes for clang. So what we need to do for that is kill one function basically. Which is not that one actually. Is that even used somewhere? No. Okay. Where is that living? An entity. We might want to actually delete that. I don't know. I don't think we need that anymore. Because I don't think we want that. But what I actually wanted is it that one? No, that's the one in end. Is it in type traits maybe? Yeah, it is in type traits, okay. So what we want to get rid of is this, because it doesn't anyways work nicely. So we just do that. And we get rid of that. And we get rid of that. And that's it. Wait. Shouldn't that then have worked already? I hope that uses clang. No, it doesn't. Okay. Well, we need to change that then. But that should have. That should have returned the same thing. Maybe it doesn't? Let's see. Because I mean, what's definitely not correct is the type names of the pins. So that should be fixed now with that. Okay, well, that is fair. But we don't need that anymore. Do we have it anywhere else? No, right? So that should hopefully be... Oh, okay, maybe we have it somewhere else. Okay, we have it here. Which... Why? Oh, because of that. Okay. Well, that one is kinda dead anyways. So that should still work, but that's the Windows version, right? Okay, maybe not. Oh yeah, it doesn't. No, of course. Because now those hashes are different. And that is in shader graph, which will be a pain. Because can I find out? Yeah, probably here, right? Or can I not find out which one it is? Maybe not. But node is already registered in this context. Oh. No. What? No, that doesn't make too much sense. I want to see what the type name is. Because that doesn't make a lot of sense that it complains here. Oh. Because that should be exactly the same as before. And all of those hold on, why is that the case? Didn't we fix that? Why would that be the case? I think I can call it like that, right? And probably can just go here directly because it doesn't really matter. Hmm. So that's not what we wanted, right? Did I do something wrong here? That might still be a const express thing then. I don't know. Might not be good enough. No type. Oh god damn it! That's not what I wanted. Oh, that's why not. God damn it! I wanted to go in here. And this is prefix. This is suffix. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe my prefix for suffix is wrong. Not even sure why that would be here. I will just trust Ant in this case, right? I'm not sure where I got those from, but probably it's garbage. Oh, I forgot to open my stream thing. Alright. Didn't miss anything anyways. Alright, what? Ah, we're still building because we changed something in like one of the core headers. So. Oh, will take some time. Actually, we will cancel that and redo that because I do think that was actually the issue. Most likely. I anyways don't know what was I looking for in that case. Onyx is Visual Studios may be wrong, right? We should probably do it msvc. Okay, so that looks better. I don't really like that it's class in front. But okay. It doesn't really matter, right? As long as it's consistent. We might write that down, right? Actually, let's do it as an int. I don't know. So we will write those down. Is that actually, wait. That might not work, right? So wherever we register those. Well, actually we can probably just... Does that work here? No, right? Don't think we have int here in graphics. No. But we can do it in entity or like in game core maybe. Because here we register as well some things, right? Yeah, like this one for example. Type hash, well, type name. I want to know what that is. Because I would prefer if it doesn't say class in front. But I guess that's not possible. I think we need to do value because it's stupid. Okay, it's exactly the same. Wonder if we could get rid of that. So we find the prefix. Maybe we want to have that as prefix. Ah, that might not work, right? Nah, let's see. Actually, we can. Prefix. So name, find, or begins with. Starts with. Size of where basically Why is that not working? Shouldn't that exactly be the same? What the hell is going on? Why is... Guess that is beyond me. Is that working maybe? Actually it's probably like that, right? I mean, I can probably just leave it. It's not a big deal. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, kinda. Except for that, now we have... Hello, yeah, it can take some time. If you change like something and like a header that's used a lot of times, then it takes a long time to compile. Welcome to the stream, Morgenwork. It can be quite a long time. And as we are changing something in a very core library, yeah. Find first, not off. What's the difference actually? Hold on. If that's the thing. What's stripped type name of that? Is that a string view? Okay, that is a string view. But I do think that's exactly the same thing. See, it's now faster because we didn't compile that much. But that works different. Oh wait, it's finding the first. I see. Okay, that makes actually sense. I think we might take that as an inspiration because that's actually better anyways, right? It's cleaner anyways. Doesn't use any of that other crap anyways. So function, now we have here prefix, here suffix, and then we do can we do that? Pretty function find first, not off. After the first +1. And that would do the same trick. And then we do again that basically. So we first move forward by class and then we remove that one. Yeah, sure. So it's not Vulkan specific. Bindless is a thing in DirectX 12 as well. And what that means is, do you have any idea about shaders in general or not so much? Because then I will explain more or not. But usually you have to bind textures, right? Or buffers. Well, but my engine currently only works bindless with textures. Where can I show that? Probably let's go to the static mesh render task. I don't know. Okay, so usually you have to bind stuff, right? So you have to somewhere, like you do a bind vertex buffer, you should be able to call something like bind the texture, and then you have your texture here. And you would need to bind that every time the texture changes, or every time yeah, basically every time the texture changes, and every time, because you bind it to the command buffer, you need to do that every frame more or less. And you will need to beforehand know exactly which textures you want to bind, etc. So what bindless does is, we have like a big, you can imagine it like a big array. And then you can access, if I open my shader, give me a second. So basically we have a big array of textures, and then you can just access them with the index basically, and that's called bindless rendering. And then we can only update that big array if like the texture changes, and every shader has it updated. You don't need to bind anything because you bind that descriptor only once per frame and not multiple times. So if you want to use a texture in like 3 shaders, you have it still only bound like 1 time. Where are my shaders? Ah, here. So for example, static mesh is a bad example, right? Composite is a good one. So usually you have, god damn it, in like a classical one you have like the layout with a uniform sampler where you have a texture, right? So this is the bind full version, let's say. And then the bindless version, we just get texture indices, which is just like a uint. And then we have here a texture sample on the bindless texture array. This is like some Vulkan specific stuff that you need to define, like that you need to use, so that treats it as an index. And then here you pass in the index, and this is basically how you access the texture. And this bindless textures, just so that you know as well, is here. Basically one binding, which is an array of textures. And we don't need to bind any textures to our shaders and our render passes and stuff like that, or our pipelines. This is all done via this array. And you have the same concept in DirectX 12, so it's not Vulkan specific. And bindless is basically the current state of the art how to do that, because it's very easy and avoids, as I said, binding textures multiple times if you have to use them in different shaders and whatnot, because we only bind this thing once at the start of the frame. I can only recommend it. You can do something similar, and it's on my to-do list with buffers. So with storage buffers you can do something very similar to that. But yeah, I didn't come around adding that yet. But yeah. Okay, yeah. I mean, hey, you have to start somewhere, right? And getting Vulkan tutorial done, we are already talking about, I don't know, like 2000 lines of code or something like that. It's insane what you need for that. Is it because we have... Why are we cutting off one value at the end, like one letter at the end? Is it because of that? Might be, right? Oh, in C, nice. Yeah, I use C++, but to be honest, I only use it because I use it a lot at work as well. Not like a super fan of like C++, but I'm doing it since 2012, 2013, so I'm kinda used to C++, but yeah. I wanted to, maybe eventually there will be a branch of the engine and GitHub where I want to try some stuff with SIG. Maybe we port parts of it to SIG just to see how it feels. Because yeah, SIG seems to be a little like a promising thing, but it's still very early days, right? So it's hard to say if SIG will be the next cool thing, or if it's just currently very popular. So, does that work? That looks perfect. Okay, cool. That's exactly what I wanted. So we have that working. And that should give us, hopefully, as long as our class doesn't start with that, which is unlikely, I would say. Or do we want that? I mean, yeah, let's do that for now. It's fine. Actually, we might do that outside here, because that might be in all of them. Okay. I'm not sure if we actually need that. That might be... I think we can just do that. I don't think we need that. Or... Or am I stupid and we need that? I don't think we need that. Or maybe we did. Oh, well, no, but I can't type, that's all. Wikipedia says SIG developers get paid a lot of money. Well, I don't know if that's anything to go by, but I don't know. Just because Wikipedia says that. But I mean, maybe. Maybe that's the thing. Okay, maybe we needed that. Never mind. Maybe we needed that type struct, whatever. Maybe it's because, man, that's a little bit templates magic stuff, right? Probably then we can do that here. Hey ho, ellipsis. Welcome back. We're currently fixing our type hash, and once we have established that, which should be fairly soon, we can go from that point onwards. Actually, the more I think about it, maybe I strip that away again. It's just too error prone. If the class starts for whatever reason with class, then we strip away some information here. I mean, I guess I guess we could do that, right? And then it's kinda ensured that it's correct, because we cannot have like an empty space afterwards. But then again, why did I wanted to do that in the first place? I think because I wanted a nicer name. Yeah, let's do that for now. I don't know. The type hash is what we currently store nodes or like any data type in like assets. You will see it in a second, because we are now actually done with fixing the type hash. So what we will do now is a lot of manual work, which is unfortunate, but what can you do? Actually, we let's see. First I need to orient myself again. So we go here, 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 and then yeah, probably we do that manually here. Which it will be a pain, right? But what can you do? We could... You know what? Actually, I will do that. But where do I do that is the other question. Let's do a static inline. Oh, well, maybe that doesn't work. Where do we do that? This one might be a good candidate, actually, just as a debug thing. So here we do a hash map of Onyx U32, I think, because the type hash is a 32 one, yeah. And then we take a string, and this one will be our node ID2 name hash map. That will be static, and then we put that here. And I will do that just so that we have it a little bit easier. Like that. And then here we do node graph type registry, node ID to name at type hash to type name. And then we run that, and basically run that until probably here, right? Okay, actually up until here, hopefully, or maybe here. Probably even up until here is enough. just do that so that we have it here, and then we can hopefully run that without a crash up until this point. Because then we can copy out the values, and then I can do a string replace search in the data assets. And so yeah, as I said, the type hashes are used basically for some sort of static reflection, basically. With the ID, I know which class I need to instantiate later based on the factory, right? In the factory, I store the hash and the class that needs to be constructed. So if I read a data file and I get the hash, I know which file, like which class it is associates with. To construct yeah, assets and stuff like that from data files on the disk. Oh, that actually worked. Oh, we have 200 entries. God damn it. Okay, well then, that's not how much I expected, less, but okay. Fun. So we can take that and hopefully paste it into a perfect. So those are all the stuff, all the things that we already register, which is actually a lot, not gonna lie. And with that list, we can now go to our well, that one is actually a little bit less useful, but we can do it. So we need to go here. So this is create light clusters. So we search here for create light clusters, and then we take this one. Can probably, yeah, do it like that. And then here, this one turns into this one, right? So that's the idea behind that. And then we search for create transmittance. And this one turns into this one. And that's basically because we changed the type. So get view constants turns into this one. Update light. Compute. Let me quickly ban that. Thank you, I don't need cheap viewers. I am not doing that for the viewers here. Or like not for, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I liked having viewers, but yeah. Exactly, bye bye bot. I don't know why it even like didn't. Sometimes it registers already and it doesn't let it through, and sometimes it seems like they write it in a way that's not detected, because I think there was a special character in there which probably threw off the bot a little bit, like the moderating bot of stream elements. Alright, and then we have this one. On my list as well, of because I'm doing that now manually, which is a pain, is having like a versioning system for assets where this can be maybe done with like a script instead of me doing this manually. But actually we should have probably, now that I think about that, we should have probably done more. Because I think I want it like that. We actually do that because I think that makes the most sense to have it fully, like the full name here. As a fallback as well. Because then we can actually do a fallback. If the hash is not found, we can try to hash the name again and restore it from that. And that works as long as the namespace doesn't change. And this is just for debug. We will not save this in the runtime stuff, but as this is the editor file, it's fine to have that in there. That's weird, the depth pre-pass is in game core, so that's already a little bit sus, right? But it's fine for now. Where the passes are is not final yet anyways. Because that one, for example, again is, I would argue, in the correct one. Yeah, it's a little bit of manual work currently. What can you do? But once we have that, I think we should be fine on the actual clang version as well, because that hash should be exactly the same now, hopefully. So now we need to find where we stopped changing this. Tone map, I think, yeah, that was the last one, so here. And that was it. Oh, question, I was wondering, you have modules. Are modules meaningful separated from systems, the ones you register, or are they on in the same? So yeah, that's a bit of a or one and the same. Not necessarily, but sometimes they go hand in hand. What I mean with that is a system is basically something that can have an init function, and it can have a shutdown function, and it can have an update function. So basically it's a way to register something to the main thread to get an update. And currently it's more or less that each module has like one system just so that it can initialize stuff, and then there's some systems that have an update but not all of them. So for example, the asset system has just an init function somewhere. Yeah, here it just has an init and a shutdown, right? But it doesn't have an update because we don't need an update for this one, and it needs to inherit from Onyx Engine system. But then there is, for example, the input module. That one has two systems. It has the input system, which is the one responsible for the raw input, like keyboard events, button, mouse events, and gamepad events. And then we have the input action system, which is another system in the same module, which associates higher logic to those input events. You can, if you ever worked with Unity or Unreal, it's close to their actions as well. So basically, I can actually show the data for that. You basically associate an action, which is a string, with a key or a button press and stuff like that, and that allows you to rebind keys very easily, because in the game I just check for gizmo rotate. I don't check for the keyboard key. So if I change this to a 9, then it's suddenly a different key, right? And there is as well multiple, like the camera movement. There's like one with the keyboard and one with the gamepad, but the game only checks, or the engine only checks for the camera movement. Exactly, like a, like a, so that's the input action system. So this module has like two systems currently. Yeah, the idea was basically a system is something that needs an update, and it's not necessarily a module. A module is more like a core thing, like a single responsibility for like a broader feature scope. So input is handling everything with input, right? File system is handling everything with files. Entity is like the wrapper around the entity library. Node graph is like the base for the node stuff and like that. The const expra, where was that? This one? Yeah, basically you can think of the const expra like a conditional compiling thing, right? If the type that this is called with doesn't fulfill this, then it's as if this function doesn't contain this function, this code. So it's like it basically conditionally compiles it away based on the type. So it's a bit more performance friendly, right? But it means as well that we have like multiple versions when we link and build. We have multiple add systems, but yeah. But it's quite this function, I'm happy with it, but it was not easy to come up with, because, well, it's not rocket science, but it was some figuring out with like template stuff and template magic, because what this does is it checks for an init function, right, on the type, but it doesn't check for an init function with arguments. It doesn't care about the arguments, and then we get the arguments for that init function, and then we iterate over that tuple that we get out of this one to get dependencies, so other systems that are already registered, and we feed them into the init function of that system. So what that allows us to do is dependency injection in a very nice way, because for example the input system, you can see it takes a window as a input, but I'm never passing that. It's magically passed through like this, because it then gets that it has a window. Yeah, exactly. And then we get it, and the window is a special one because it's not a system. I get it from the graphics system. I did like two things that I can get more easily, because I could register for the graphics system, but yeah. Like the input system here could take the graphics system as well, and it would basically work the same. I could write here graphics system, right? But then I would need to call the window and blah blah blah. I thought like for a couple of things I exposed a more direct way, if it makes sense, because the window is used more often. Yeah, no worries. I mean, I'm here to answer questions. Don't worry. That's all good. I actually am happy to answer questions. Yeah, we need to. I want to make that public here for a second. just so that I can get that. Because I'm pretty sure I have to use that as well in one place. And yeah, all good. Please ask questions if you have them. You can as well ask them on Discord. You can write me on Discord directly as well if you don't want to have it in a channel. And I will answer as soon as I can, which is usually, yeah, quite fast. But maybe during the day it might be a little bit slower if I'm at work. So that one should be... Oh, god damn it, that's as well pain to find out. I would yeah, I don't assume actually. Let's put a breakpoint when we register, because I think that's actually easier anyways. So I think we can remove that. We don't need that anymore. I got the types out that I wanted. It was anyways only a crutch. So we can get rid of that again. And then here I want to basically make a breakpoint, see where we register the type. Because I'm pretty sure we need the texture handle pin. To be registered correctly. Oh no, I changed the header again. Oh, where? Okay, that was actually faster than I thought. No, I've never used that. No. In my... So I'm... Since 2011, I'm in the games business. I think 2011. Yeah, and I've never used Haskell. So in like 16 years? Yeah, almost 16 years now already. Damn. Never used Haskell. The main thing is C++. Depending on the company, you can have with Unity C#, right? C# is actually quite common anyways, because most tools are written in C#. So for example, some editors for some engines are written in C#, for some proprietary engines. And yeah, like project generation, if you know SharpMake, for example, that's an Ubisoft tool. It's similar to Premake or CMake, right? That one is as well written in C#. It's like a project generation thing that can create make files and Visual Studio solutions. And that one is in C#. So tools is very, very common in C# in the games industry. And then yeah, game engines. Most of them are C++. Some have like Lua scripting, some have C# scripting like Unity. Yeah, that's mostly it in terms of programming languages. For backends and stuff like that, or like scripts as well. Sometimes you have Python. But yeah, that's more or less it for like really game related stuff. There's maybe some odd ones again for some tools and stuff like that, there might be differences always. Alright, so in here somewhere we have probably a type for the pin. We should have that in probably composite. Yeah. So this one will be that. Pretty sure. And then we have one more list that we need to do. which is where is that input binding registry? Probably we have anyways a breakpoint here when we continue. Yeah. But I don't know the type again. Or do I? No, right? Oh, but actually I do. Oh, perfect. Nah, that's not the value I wanted to copy, goddammit. Add watch. So we put that here, and then we can go into our input binding thing here. And we have bool, which will be this. Really? Why was that so long? Oh no, that's the wrong one. Sorry. It's I think this one, right? Yeah, I think. And then this one. And we can actually search and replace for this one. And then we have axis 3D. Probably a composite is that one. And then we have axis 2D, which probably is a... I do think actually that is just an axis 2D. But then I'm not sure. And then X is 1D. I would assume it's this. Camera slowdown, bool. Oh, we replaced that already and we replaced. Isn't this, shouldn't that be an axis 3D composite? What is that type? Input action serializer. Action get type. Oh, okay. But okay, it's a little bit useless. Oh no, actually, okay, yeah. So that's the type, and then we have here composites in there because, okay, yeah, that makes, I think, sense. Because we can have an axis 3D type. And yeah, have like different. Ah, god damn it. Did I not save maybe? Oh no, I changed it in the wrong file. That's what I did. Alright. So what we need to do is here, Onyx source, data, render graph. So we open this one and we paste that in there. Then we go in here, open that one. And open that one, take that. And paste that here. And that should hopefully do the trick. I'm not sure if that's everything we needed to change. Actually, it might have been. Okay, yeah, we have still input. Perfect. I think the components are wrong as well. So I think if we have a scene, which I'm not sure if we have. Okay, actually we don't have a scene, which is okay. But the thing would be wrong as well. If we would have a scene, that would be wrong. Okay, so I think that is everything. And now we can go here back into our build folder, clear everything here except the dependencies. And go here, change this to, do I want to maybe save that? Nah, I don't think so. Don't think we need that. Famous last words. Nah. T minus T. Clang CL. Now we generate. Did we generate? I think we didn't. Isn't that... Wasn't that the thing that I... What? Wasn't that always the thing that I... Or is it clang CL like that? Or am I tripping? Why is it still... Ah, it doesn't match the tools it used previously. Oh, okay. Was clang CL with the lowercase. Okay. Ah. Which one? Okay. Do I need to submit that? Problem is my Windows is somehow buggy. It doesn't select stuff in the taskbar today. I mean, I guess we can submit that. It's definitely not wrong. Let me quickly check my phone. I will be AFK for a second, but I will push that. I need to take care of something. Fix type hash by removing wrong function now was trying to extract fixed data to let's push that, because then we can delete all of that. I don't need to care about that anymore. Okay. Oh, sorry, we need to close that. Oh, come on. Don't save. Perfect. And now we should be able to do that, and I will be right back in a couple of minutes probably. right, sorry. Had to take care of something. So I guess we generated, yeah, probably. Let's see where we are with that. Are we an LLVM clang? Yes, we are. Well, then let's give it a roll and see where we end up. If that actually works or not. In theory, we should get the exact same hash. But I guess we will find out if that's the case. Actually, I would want to know... let's deal with that later. But yeah, if that's done, I think version 1.012 is done basically. That should be the fixes needed again, so that we have clang, CL, msvc and clang on Ubuntu running. And I will most likely on the weekend set up some GitHub actions so that we have like continuous compilation for those 3 platforms at least, so that every time I submit something we can maybe find out if there's stuff broken or not. Well, that is unfortunate, so I would say it doesn't work. So let's actually go to node graph registry factory. Is it that one? Yeah. God damn it, I pushed that. Well, it's good that I pushed it because now I can debug that, but oh, how come? Let's remove that for a second. What comes out with that? So maybe we don't strip class away here? Maybe the... Yeah, maybe that one doesn't have class afterwards? Yeah, it actually doesn't. Okay, well, in that case... we move that here. Again, this should be probably called msvc. and not Visual Studio. Maybe we do that for the actual release. So that should help. Maybe I don't even want to do a +1 here. I will test that, but I do think that is not needed. What is wrong? Is there something wrong? I mean, that should work. I mean, that's kinda stupid then anyways by end as well, right? Because I would want those to be the same on all platforms. Those strings. And the hashes, so having that makes sense. Oh, it works, okay, never mind. Okay, so that should work, and then we should be able to... God damn it. Actually, we have those here. No, that's not the right... No, that is actually the right thing. Or is it? Maybe not. Okay, maybe not. Did I maybe do that wrong then? Okay, no, actually that should be correct. So maybe that is not correct in the sense that, well, that might not compile because it complains that it... Oh, okay, actually it does. Okay. And that's not what we have here? That's actually not. This is the bool one. Why would that be different? Weird. Let's actually clear that. Maybe we should actually... probably the best would be to have that. In like 2 different folders so that we don't have to regenerate it all the time. But yeah. So yeah, tomorrow... Oh, God damn it. I just spilled some water. Too enthusiastic. Tomorrow we will continue finally with the actual game project. Unless Captain Chica finds another thing that doesn't work, which I'm grateful for, but yeah. It's unfortunate that it was a little bit delayed. But yeah, and three trunks as well. I'm very grateful for those 2 guys testing stuff and telling me if something doesn't work. Not that clang was high on my list, but it's definitely nice to have it now. But yeah, it still doesn't run on Linux. It compiles on Linux, but we don't have a window API on Linux, so it does not work. Okay, that's wrong. Okay, so we should have that again. And if we open that and go to input binding factor or registry, and then here so that should be what we want. Unless we have the empty space before there. I didn't double check that. If we do, then we have to redo all the ashes again. Which would be a pain. But I thought I double checked that it doesn't have that in there. Because otherwise the hash is exactly the same, right? Oh god. Why does it even type name? Oh, because we strip one here, right? Okay, so that one is wrong. Okay, but that is good because that means we only need to adjust those, which is kinda nice. Just have to adjust the input bindings, which is not that much. But yeah, that's a pain, not gonna lie. Oh no, and I tested this on Godboard with GCC or Clang, and they reduced this and then this worked, right? Because in that case it doesn't have this weird class, and I didn't test it with msvc because I actually don't know anymore, but yeah. Okay, so and this doesn't have anything in there, and then this is the hash we get out, which hopefully is the same for Clang. But basically we do that and we replace it with that, and then we have the axis composite. X is 1D. We have one of those. Just this one. Now we have X is 1D composite, which I don't think we have. Now we have X is 2D, which I think we have as well. Which I think is this one. Then we have X is 3D composite. So that should work again, hopefully. Okay, maybe not. Odd. Okay. So I think we need to replace, not here, but here. In composite. This one, I think. Is that not it? Hmm. Maybe it's not it. Node graph type registry. Okay, maybe it's not the right one. This is a that is a struct, right? Because this one is a struct. Yeah, god damn it. Okay. So yeah, now we are back. But our oh no, our input is working. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, cool. So we might push that. We definitely discard this one. We actually will remove this one again. And yeah, so that. Okay. So we have that. Now we can go back, close everything, do one last test for today with Clang. And call it a day and probably submit to that. Well, we already submitted to dev. And yeah, we'll do the release most likely tomorrow and not today anymore. But yeah. Because I want to give it one quick test, most likely on Ubuntu again. Before declaring this the new release. Just to see if it builds there. But yeah, that should... Do we need more? No, right? That should work. Yeah, that should all work. We probably need in the game project more work, because there we have the shader graph, which we need to edit as well. Which is a little bit more painful, because there's more nodes involved. All right. So that would be nice if that works, because then we're perfect. Oh, that looks perfect. We run on clanks here. Awesome. Perfect. Shader graph works. Render graph works. Let's see if we can open a render graph. Just to be sure, right? Render graphs. Oh yeah, that works. Cool. Good. All nice. Awesome. So the last thing, which I will do probably tomorrow, is test one more time the compilation on Ubuntu. And if that works, that is basically 0.12 release, which fixes, yeah, compilation on Clang on Windows, as well as actual runtime issues with the type hash, which would have been a problem on Ubuntu Clang as well. So that's good. Cool. So I am happy with that. Thank you very much for joining. I will be back tomorrow at 7:30. And yeah, then we will continue with our volumetric terrain, which is the actual thing we worked before going on with that dilemma with Clang. So it will be more game related again, more visual and more fun than fixing compile errors. Thank you, Ellipsis. Bye, have a great night and see you tomorrow, everyone. Bye bye.